Okay, number 6. Okay, we want to solve x over 4 minus 2 equals negative 3. Okay, x over 4, think of that as x split into 4. Okay, so x over 4 would be 1/4 of a full-size rectangle. Okay, a rectangle broken in 4. It would be 1/4 of the size. So this green rectangle is supposed to be this fourth as big. I know it looks like it's the exact same size as the squares. Okay, but think about what you can do first to get rid of the stuff next to the partial rectangle. And notice I have an addition sign. So even though you could subtract instead, let's just stick with adding, since that's the way I set this up. Okay, to get rid of the 2 reds next to the partial rectangle, you would have to add, if you used addition, you would have to add 2 yellows. And if you add 2 yellows to the left, you better add 2 yellows to the right to keep it balanced. Okay, so you would record that step. Okay, so you want to record the step, and then row 2, write down what you have after you clean things up. Okay, so you'd be adding 2 to the left, adding 2 to the right. Okay, you'd be cleaning things up by taking away both 0 pairs on the left because they cancel. And you also have 2 0 pairs to take away on the right. Okay, so once you clean it up, you still have x over 4 on the left, 1/4 of an x on the left, and a negative 1 on the right. So type in x over 4, 1/4 of an x, balances with a negative 1. I'm going to go ahead and just type that in again on row 3. X over 4 equals negative 1. Okay, go ahead and do the next step. We have the partial rectangle alone. Think about what you can multiply by, okay, both sides, to get a full rectangle. Okay, if you have 1/4 of a rectangle and you want a full rectangle, you could multiply it by 4. So 1/4 of a rectangle multiplied by 4 would represent a full rectangle. Okay, we multiply the left by 4. But if we multiply the left by 4, we better take that negative 1 square and multiply it by 4. Okay, so if we have 1 negative and we multiply it by 4, we would now have 4 negatives. Okay, so for row 3, type in what you did, and then for row 4, type what your answer is. Okay, row 3, so what we did is we multiplied the left by 4, and we multiplied the right by 4. And then if you look at your visual, we now have a full x equaling negative 4. Okay, now go ahead and check your answer of negative 4. Make sure it's correct by putting it into the original equation and making sure the left side equals the right side. Okay, you should be putting negative 4 in for x, so you'd have negative 4 divided by 4 minus 2 is equal to negative 3. Okay, divide before you subtract. So negative 4 divided by 4 is a negative 1. So we end up with negative 1 minus 2 equals negative 3. Okay, negative 1 minus 2, I would think of that as a negative 1 added to a negative 2, which is negative 3. And negative 3 does equal negative 3. So that proves to us that negative 4 was the correct solution.